So Jason Whitlock has used the death of Tyre Nichols to jump off his single mother debate, and he has blamed Tyre Nichols' mother for this tragic death. And then also Preston Hemphil is a white cop that was involved in the whole situation. I don't know to what extent, but I know he had a hand in it, and he tased him. But his name was never named, or he was never charged for anything that was happening. But I'm gonna play you some of what Jason Whitlock had to say.
I would examine the racial element of this, because there is a racial element. And this is a story about young black men and their inability to treat each other in a humane way. Everybody involved in this on the street level was either 24 to 32 years old. Everybody. It was a group of young black men, 5-on-1. Looked like gang violence to me. It looked like what young black men do when they're supervised by a single black woman. And that's what they got going on in the Memphis Police Department. They've elected or put some black woman in charge of the police force.
So here he's referring to Carolyn Davis, who's the police chief of Memphis, who, along with Steve Mulroy, got a quick investigation done, case closed, this, that, and other. Now, the only thing I'm going to point out is that the white officer was not charged yet. I don't know what to extent that he went in this beating or whatever, but I know he tased the guy, so I want to see more of why he was the only one not charged. It just came out that he was relieved of duty, but still not charged yet. But let's continue. I'm just tripping on how he blames the woman for doing a quick investigation.
And we're getting the same kind of chaos and disunity and violence that we see in a lot of these cities that are run by single mothers. If we want to discuss the breakdown of family that leads to disrespect for authority, that causes you to resist the police and run from the police and not comply with the police because you resist authority at all time because there was no male authority in your home, let's have that discussion. But that's not where they want to take us. They want to take us down the path of saying, you know what, this is Tucker Carlson's fault. This is some random this is Donald Trump's fault. It's not. It's the breakdown of family and the buying in to all these left-wing things that have nothing to do with promoting family.
Now, see, come on, bro. The brother ain't even in the ground yet, and you already coming with this narrative. You blaming his mother because he didn't have a father in the home, then that's why he resisted arrest. He resisted arrest because he was trying to do everything in his power to comply with the police, yet they were still beating and kicking and punching and spraying him with mace and all this type of stuff. So at some point, I think he just figured, I ain't gonna make it out of this no way. Like, they gonna kill me if I lay here. I'm gonna be George Floyd. So he just tried to get up and run. And then after he did that, it made it worse, which I don't recommend black men. You got to make it home first. And running is not going to make it up, because I think that made it even worse. That made the policeman mad that they had to chase him down, and it made him beating even more. But I'm not going to let you blame his mother talking about this is the reason that he resisted arrest. He resisted arrest because the officers were doing a terrible job. They took joy in beating and breaking this man down as far as they can do. And what I want to discuss is nobody said anything about Donald Trump or Tucker Carlson or this, that, and that. Everybody put the blame on the black men that took part in this. And it was a white man in this as well, but he managed to scapegoat the whole situation. He still ain't been charged. But I'm just going to say this shows that it's a systematic racism type of thing that's going on within this system. The police were created as slave catchers. That's where the police came from. They were slave catchers. That's how the police got started in this country. And you can see that still reenacting itself today. And the Django mentality of like Stephen, the type of give a slave a little bit of power, it's still a systematic racism thing that got us acting the way we act towards each other as far as black men towards black men, which is leading to his argument about single mothers is not doing us any good. He's making the right argument, but it don't need to be applied in this situation. You don't blame that man's mother for what society has become. Listen, single motherhood is not a thing that I promote. You need both parents to make sure that everything is functioning properly. And it will be better for the child. And yes, it is a partial reason why we have so much violence in certain inner cities and this, that, and other. But fellas, let's make no mistake. Violence happened because we do it. Even if we grew up, we taught it, we grew up, we still carry it out. And this is what I'm saying in this situation where it's like, Yes, I'm going to put blame on a systematic way that black people have been taught to act towards each other, but I'm also going to put blame on the black man for carrying it out. We're the ones picking up the gun. We're the ones making the music, perpetuating these situations. But do I place some blame on women too? Yes, because women raise kids in a different manner. It's known that women tend to raise kids from a more emotional state, and then kids take on that ability. Look at the video I did with Krishan Rock and Blueface, right? She's pregnant right now, so look at how she reacts in every situation. She don't like the way the situation going. She kick, scream, tear up stuff, this, that, and other. Emotional, right? Act out. Now, kids act out even when they have the mother and father in there, but they really act out when they don't have the father there, right? So imagine Krishan Rock, her and Blueface break up, and she's a single mother raising a kid, and the kid is watching her react like this all the time. Kick, screaming, tearing up stuff, this, that, and other, right? He's going to repeat that. And then he's going to go out looking for a father figure that's not going to be in the home, and he's going to be welcomed by the gangs, by the people running the streets, by the dope boys, right? And then when you have situations that pop off in the street, what do you do? Yosemite Sam, you know what I'm saying? Shooting everybody, killing everybody, right? And you have a bunch of emotional reactions with young men with guns because they wasn't taught how to put these hands up or how to talk things out and solve the problem and navigate through these things. See, a man will teach you that because a man know that when men go at it, it's very finite. We know it can go down at any point. So we can try to navigate it. A man will teach you the best way to try to navigate that situation without death occurring. But if that's not taught, we have a recurring type of thing that's going on. And fellas, we got to take our part of responsibility in this too, because if you don't want kids, why are you laying down with women putting babies in them? You understand what I'm saying? You can't lay down with the woman, then get mad when she be like, oh, I'm going to keep it. Because really, that's supposed to be done with life anyway. It's supposed to be preserved. Whether it's in the case of this young man, Tyre Nichols, his life should have been preserved. Whether it's in the case of babies, we should be preserving life. Not focused on how quick you going to keep it, you going to not. We should be keeping it. My focus is on preventative. You shouldn't be putting babies in the oven to even have the conversation about if we going to keep it or not. And if you did put that in there and she decides to keep it, be there for that child. You lay it down. But then, woman, you can't tell that man, I want to keep it. I don't need you and this, that, and the other. And then, soon as the baby's here, you down talking to father here, bad father here, terrible, deadbeat dad, all of this. But then it was all women empowerment when you was at the clinic getting them other situations taken care of that you didn't want. When it was on your terms, you didn't want it. It's woman empowerment. But when a man leaves, he's a bad deadbeat dad. Listen, we have a lot of things that we need to work out in this community, and us pitting against each other, especially in a situation like this, when this tragedy of loss is not something that's going to help any of it get any better. There's no way Jason Whitlock should be blaming his mother, and her son ain't even in the ground yet. When who we need to be talking about is these police officers. You understand what I'm saying? It's just a time for you to make a point that has nothing to do with nothing. And like, you could have just kept that, bro. Could have just kept it. I just felt like this was not the time for that argument. It is, however, the time to figure out, making sure the other officer gets charged, and to try to figure out what type of monetary compensation that is going to be had for this family. I know a lawsuit is in order. We need to be trying to make sure that we put some energy in making sure that mother gets some peace, that family gets some peace, which they're not going to get, really, because a payment is not peace. But I'm just saying, this young man lost his life, and there's still a young son that needs to be raised, a 4-year-old son that he has that needs to be raised. So everything is helpful. And this police department was definitely wrong in how they handled this situation. And we need to be definitely hitting people in their pockets. It's the only way to make people act right. Like Dick Gregory said this years ago, like, the only way to make officers act right, they're never going to care for you. So you have to make them, you got to hit them where it hurts, and they pension and money and this, that, and that. When officers go off the radar and act in the manner that they're acting, black, white, brown, or whatever, they need to be punished criminally and financially. And that's, even if they didn't carry out something as extra heinous as this, it still needs to get that type of punishment as far as pension taken away, this, that, and the other taken away, because they'll think before they do these type of things, rather than just gang up on somebody and beat them in that way. But tell me what you think. This your boy Pete Camp. Put something in the comments for your boy.